So last week, Luke Belmar told us how long it took him to become a millionaire through dropshipping, but there was so much more I wanted to find out. So I asked him if he would be willing to sit down for an interview. Luke's been known to share valuable info on the market if you know where to find his drops, but the people need to know more. In this exclusive interview, Luke gives us the inside scoop on how he went from sleeping in his car to exactly how he made tens of millions in crypto, where he sees money going by 2030, how to navigate market cycles, and exactly how to short Ponzi schemes to profit millions. You literally can't even put a price on the amount of value dropped in this interview, so sit back, take some notes, and enjoy the ride.
Brother Luke.
Good to see you, Colin.
How are you, brother?
How are you? Welcome to Switzerland, bro.
Yeah, tell everyone where we're at and what we're doing.
We're in beautiful Zermatt. We've been here snowboarding for a week with all my homies, and yeah, just leveling up, masterminding, and putting together a lot of genius brains to collectively form a mastermind and kind of see what data sets people have been collecting overseas and while they travel, and then taking that and cross-pollinating with what each of us are doing and just elevating, dude. So just a good vacation.
Yeah, man. One thing I'll say about you is you are so about your group and your network and your posse, your crew that you travel with. One thing I really respect is that you take your family everywhere with you. Is that always something that's been like a priority of yours, like making your family become your really your group, like it's who you roll with at all times?
I want to tell you a story. It was the summer of 2013, and I got offered a shitty job to work at a restaurant. And in this restaurant, I would have to wash dishes, and I would have to make sure that I was running the dish bit, make sure the floors were mopped. I had to clock in at 5:30 in the morning. And it was a summer job. It was one of these jobs that you would have for about 6 weeks to 2 months. It was one of these resorts that are open seasonally. And I had given my word to the owner that I knew through a family member that I would stick out the job, even though it was the shittiest thing that I've ever been through. And then at the end of the 6 weeks, the 8 weeks, he said, nobody has ever stuck with this job because it was so bad. And he gave me a nice little bonus. Gave me a bonus, I think it was about $300. He gave me a $300 bonus, which was about a week's worth of salary at that point.
Yeah.
And I realized that what he was rewarding me for wasn't my hard work, but my loyalty. And that my loyalty, because I said what I was going to do, and I did it, and I followed through, and I had my word attached to it, and it meant something that I was able to benefit more than just financially, but build a relationship based on trust, regardless of hard things. So the reason I travel with my family, the reason I move with my family and with my team that's very niche, is because I don't like outsiders.
Yeah.
You know, there gets a point in your career where you're at a place where you don't want to allow outsiders into your network, into your circle. And when it comes to loyalty and trust, those are the two non-negotiables. And I learned that in that summer job, and it stuck with me. And ever since then, that's how I operate.
I think I learned something that no of your followers know. You were actually sleeping in your car for like 3 months.
Yeah, 6 months.
6 months in your car. So can you just kind of touch on that real quick? I don't know how long ago that was.
It was a 1999 Buick. That's the car I had when I moved to America. This was the first car that I bought. It was $2,300. And when I moved around, because I was traveling all over America, there was times where I couldn't afford rent because the places were too expensive. New York City, Washington, D.C., these places get ridiculous. You can't get a room for $1,000. It's just impossible. So I couldn't afford it. So I was waiting tables. I was cleaning toilets. I'm like, dude, am I going to spend the $2,000 I make this month, spend 40% of it on a place to live, a room? Or do I invest it? Do I make money for myself? So I was like, fuck it. I'm going to go sleep in my car. I'll just shower at Planet Fitness, and then I'll just clock in. Like, I'm chilling. I'm good. I'll just get the Wi-Fi next to the restaurant. I would park next to the restaurant and just sleep there.
Incredible.
So I did that for 6 months, and then finally was able to sleep on a couch for another year. And accumulated all my money and my wealth by holding on to it in the beginning. I remember, bro, I was literally sleeping on a couch for $200 a month. And I was already making 6 figures.
And I heard the house was disgusting.
Disgusting. It was like 5 of us. So many people get things. They increase their rent. They increase their car payment. They increase this. They increase that they have no time to focus on really building wealth, really making money. So now I'm in a situation where I'm spending $200 a month on rent. I don't have to worry about that. My food's taken care of. I'm making $4,000 or $5,000 a month. And now I'm like, dang, I have so much freedom. I'm a broke guy with freedom. So now what I have to do is take my time and monetize it. Because I realized, dude, most people in America make $1 million in their career. They have $1 million salary in their career in their lifetime. The problem is they don't understand how to reduce the time in order to get that money. So I was like, now that I have a ton of time, because I don't have all these things that I need to worry about, mortgage, rent, blah, 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 all this nonsense, I can focus on leveling up. So I went into e-commerce, went into drop shipping, got into crypto. And even though those became popular niches, because I became studious and understood where the world was going, I got into these spaces and into these niches before most people did. Now, we were drop shipping 2016. I was buying Bitcoin for a couple $100. Like, I was about it. And it paid out.
Bro, you have a very unique outlook on life, like almost like a gamified version of life. Like what we were talking about at dinner last night, with the way where, you know, you don't really care what anyone has to say, what anyone thinks of you. And I feel like, you know, from sleeping in your car, from how old were you, 20? 19. Like you know, your parents probably had some kind of thought process on that. Like what was their thought on that? And can you kind of go back to that conversation we were talking about with Jordan last night on who gives a fuck what anyone thinks of you? You are your own autonomous
individual.
Human
being. Yeah, 100%. So parents won't, if you have two types of parental groups. I would categorize them into two. One is parents that are just absolute shit. You want to get away from them as soon as possible. They just bred you, but that doesn't mean that they're your parents. And then you have the people that actually care about you and they want to nurture you and see you grow. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they know what's best for you. So I once had a conversation with my dad, and I was going to go work a sales job. It was commission only, right? So for a person that doesn't understand commission or actually going and earning your own buck, that sounds like risk. So I said, hey, Dad, I'm going to go work a sales job. I'm going to go earn my money. Like, I don't want to be capped by my performance. I don't want my cap to be performance. I don't want my performance to be capped by time.
Correct.
Or to be capped by a salary.
Yeah.
I want it to be capped by my performance.
Absolutely.
And my dad was like, no, you should go wash dishes because it's secure. You'll make money. It's safe. And it's that type of bot mentality and bot behavior that he's not even aware of.
Mm-hmm.
He's just saying it because it's what he's been taught is the way to move forward.
Yeah.
It's, just get a stable job, just get an easy job. Don't go too flashy, don't go too crazy, don't go too risky. But there isn't any risk. That's what people don't understand. There is no risk when you have nothing. When you're a peasant-ass brokey, you have no risk, nothing. The risk is living the life that you currently are living.
Yeah.
There's no other risk. So I was like, dude, what the fuck am I doing, bro? Like, I need to go and make my own money. They door-to-door sales for like 2 months, 3 months, made $13,000 in commissions.
Wow.
I was like, oh shit, like I'm actually pretty good at this.
Yeah.
And then that was kind of like the entire basis that formed this desire for an entrepreneurial career. But then I was in a situation where my parents wanted me to get a job. They wanted me to finish university. They wanted me to settle down.
I heard about your university story, by the way, today. You were one class away.
Bro, yeah, fuck all that shit.
That was crazy.
Yeah, I bounced back from university. I was like, bro, like these motherfuckers don't know how to teach. These guys are wasting my time.
Yeah.
This school is expensive. This international business professor has never been overseas.
Yeah.
He's never run an international business.
Yep.
I was like, he was talking about all this policy stuff, and I'm like, dude, why don't you talk about like manners, overseas manners, which that's what gets you the deal.
100%.
Right? It's not about this and that. So I was in a situation where I realized my parents didn't know a whole lot. And it was the first time in my life where there was this tectonic shift where I realized my parents are just human. You know, and it was a time that everybody's going to have to face if you're trying to go through a season of growth. Many people have their parents stun them, and their growth is stunted because their parents have fear of, oh, my son or my daughter are going to get hurt or they're going to end up in trouble. Or completely the other side, they just hate success. Mm-hmm. They think that all rich people are bad people, or they think that money's bad. When in reality, they're just ignorant.
Yeah.
So now I was in a situation where I realized my parents' advice with regards to how to live an ideal life was not cut out for me. Yeah. Why? Not because their advice wasn't applicable, but because I did not want to live the life that they had.
Sure.
And the life that they had was based off of the information that they knew.
Yep.
And therefore, the information that they knew was filtered through, and their advice came only from the information that they have. So if their life isn't amazing and the information that they have isn't amazing, then most likely their advice isn't amazing either. So I was like, fuck the advice. Fuck what my parents think. And I know that sounds insane. Like people go, oh, Luke, you're disrespectful to your parents.
Yes.
Brother, your parents won't feel disrespected when you retire them, sit them in a nice little Ferrari in Monaco with the entire family gathered around the table overlooking the coast, and all your parents are happy there, sipping their nice little Italian wine, seeing all the grandchildren running around. You won't hear them
You're not
bitching.
going to question.
You won't hear them bitching and complaining at that point. But what you're going to have to go through is a season of echo chamber of negativity. Of, you can't do this. You shouldn't do this. You should be worried. Why? Because they've been conditioned.
Is that the bot language? Can you talk about bot versus glitch? Because a lot of people don't understand
So the bot is somebody that runs on autopilot. It's somebody that runs on a script.
Okay.
A script that's been programmed. So a lot of people, they run on autopilot. They wake up, they clock in. They work, they eat lunch. They scroll, they clock in again. They go to work, they watch Netflix, they go to bed.
Yep.
That's the cycle. That's the autopilot cycle that they live in.
Sure.
A glitch is somebody that breaks out of that cycle and that forges their own system, right? So they no longer live by the rules of the system, but they're an anomaly. They're a glitch. They operate within it, but they're not bound to the rules of it.
Sure.
And when you operate in this way, you begin to realize that the bot advice is not going to cut it for a successful life. That's why people validate and love the US dollar. They validate and they love fiat currency. And they validate and love the current economic foundation that we live in, because it's all scripts. They don't even understand what money is. Yet they work their entire life without once questioning, what am I working for? Not once, bro. So I look at all these people, whether it's my parents, whether it's my teachers, whether it's this and that, I look at their life and I'm like, I don't want to live that life. Fuck them. That's it. Oh my gosh, Luke, you're a terrible person. I don't care. I'm here in Switzerland, shredding with my boys. If my parents want to come, so be it. I'll fly you guys over. But what you need to understand as well with parental figures is their advice also comes with a little bit of weight. And the weight is the title that is attached to the advice. So many times you'll get advice like X, Y, and Z because I'm your father and I know what's best for you, or because I know you better than anybody else. No. God knows me better than anybody else, and I know myself better than anybody else. So why would I be listening to your advice if I can even listen to my own? Like, I need to develop the internal voice so that my life isn't influenced by the external factors, but influenced by my own decision-making and my own self-development. So that's my thought, brother.
And you can glitch your way through life.
100%. You know, I was talking to Jordan yesterday on the vlog. He was like, if you were to give a piece of advice to somebody who's 18, just starting off, and they wanted to go from, 0 to the top of the mountain, what would you tell them? I said, take the gondola. Motherfuckers want to out here climb, set their own new trail, blaze through, and be like, dude, I earned climbing to the top of the mountain. Fuck that, bro. Give me the gondola, dude. Let me go to the top chilling.
They print money, bro. Dude, one of my favorite tweets, you're sitting in class studying for an exam, but they're printing money.
It's a scam. It's a scam. And the money that they're printing, the system is imploding in real time, and kids are out here studying for a history exam. And history that's been doctored and whitewashed and corrected for what? For the advice or the benefit of the few. So people are out here living a bot life, dude. It's absolutely insane.
So let's talk about your glitch journey in the money matrix, because we talk about this all the time. I mean, money right now is just a confidence game. It always has been. Every fiat currency in human history has failed. Talk about your thoughts on where we're at in the current system with the current cycles. What's going on with money?
So let's start with what is money. Money is debt. And inside the fiat system, money is debt. It's merely a representation that the United States or any other government entity owes money to the central banks or some sort of banking entity. And what we do with our taxes is we pay off the interest that's accrued by this money that's printed out of thin air. This happens through fractional reserve banking, fractional reserve lending, and it's absolutely disgusting. Why? Because there's more fake money in circulation than actual deposits or even cash. That's why they're trying to get rid of cash, not just because of anonymity, but because there's so much inflated nonsense out there that if people were to go to banks and start redeeming stuff, every bank would go bust. Every single one. So they need to remove cash out of the system so that nobody can do what? Bank run. It's the next step. The next step is, how do we avoid bank runs? We avoid bank runs by having no cash, no ability to go anywhere except outside of our ecosystem. So now what's happening with money is that money before, so for example, let's start with the history. What is money? Money is debt. 1912, there was a banking crisis caused by the bankers in order to introduce what? The Federal Reserve Act of 1913 by Woodrow Wilson, one of the most globalist, corrupt presidents in American history, he actually believed that the Constitution of the United States was a living organism, that it was adapted and changeable based on the times, and that people did not have natural, fundamental human rights, but that their rights were given to them by the government. Therefore, the guy did not believe in the Constitution. So imagine a president of the United States who does not believe in the constitutional rights of its citizens now introduces a fiat banking system that allows bankers to fractionalize money.
Yeah.
So take 100,000, you deposit it, they create $900,000 out of thin air. But the problem was, at that point, gold was still pegged to the dollar. So what would happen? They would have the bank deposits, or they would have the gold deposits, and then they would have the bank deposits as a proof of the deposits of gold. But what the bankers started doing, scumbags, is they started printing more proof receipts than actual gold in the banks. So the French realized, the British realized, they started funneling a ton of paper. They flew over to America, or excuse me, they
took their ships.
They took their ships over to America and started redeeming at the banks all this fake paper for real gold.
Yep.
So now all the people who actually deposited the gold were left with nothing. At that point, 1971, gold standard removed. Now, print. Unlimited money, because it's no longer based on the gold standard, which was the only thing constitutional, by the way. Gold is supposed to back the dollar. This is a constitutional right, but people don't even understand that. That's been taken away.
Stripped.
So the system that we live in right now is a fiat system. It is a debt-based system. All the money that you have in your bank account right now does not belong to you.
Yeah.
It does not belong to you. That's why I appreciate that you're an advocate for Bitcoin, that you're a fan of Bitcoin, because regardless of what happens with Bitcoin, you still have your Bitcoin. You still own it. The issue is nowadays it's still denominated in dollars.
Correct.
Because of the value that the dollar still has, even though it's intrinsically perceived. Why does it have such a heavy impact? In my opinion, the only thing keeping America running right now is the Iron Fist, the military power. If you look at the Roman Empire, before they collapsed, they went on a war spree. They went on a war spree to save their empire. So once your innovation is dead, right? Once your civilization is stupid, which is, look at America, bro. Fucking dumb fucks everywhere.
TikTok, bioweapon.
Now, the only way to sustain your society is through brute force. So build the biggest army, the baddest army, and then go fight for freedom in different countries that are trying to rebel against you. Whether it's Afghanistan, Libya, or whatever these countries are, just say, hey, we got weapons of mass destruction in that country. Let's go invade, nuke their currency, and make sure that...
Take their resources.
Take their resources and make sure that America can keep running the scam a few more years. Part of me understands it because global powers are trying to do it in every angle. You look 100%. At right now, China, Russia, India, they're forming BRICS.
Talk about what just happened with China, Russia,
So Aramco just signed a deal with Kenya that you would actually start to be able, that Kenya could actually buy with Kenyan currency oil as opposed to US dollars. And the Kenyan president just announced, telling all his citizens, get rid of your US dollars right now, it's going to zero. When in history has that happened?
Only a couple times.
Unless I recollect,
it's Bretton Woods. Bretton Woods 1, 2, and this is 3.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. So now we're in a situation where banks are imploding, and I think they're imploding by design. I don't think that this is, oops, this is all by design.
Is it because they want to consolidate the power to the big four?
I don't know if just the big four. I don't think that's enough. I think that there needs to be more banks, but they definitely want to they want to take away the small amount of confidence that has been built inside of crypto. Because there is confidence and there is momentum and there is movement. They have to kill crypto and introduce CBDCs, and they have to kill cash.
100%.
So what do they have to do? They have to introduce systems that show that the current ecosystem is unsafe. So crypto, unsafe. Let's introduce a Trojan horse like Sam Bankman-Fried, fund his ass, get him propped up, get the little vegan autistic kid to run the show, make it look good, altruistic as fuck, and then we'll just scam.
Wow.
And we'll just run it that way. And dude, if you don't think the CIA is out here running psyops on crypto in order to destabilize it, you're wrong. It's absolutely happening. But it's not only happening in the crypto land, it's also happening in every other global currency that is trying to compete with the United States.
Sure.
But we also have to understand it from this side of the aisle.
Yeah.
Think about all the guys that are worth tens of billions of dollars secretly inside of America that need to preserve and conserve their wealth, and most of their wealth is in dollars.
Yeah.
These guys are going to go to war for their money.
100%.
They're going to go to war for their purchasing power. So what you're seeing right now is you're seeing the big dogs move, And we are just witnessing it. Like I told you before, bro, the dollar's going to zero. It's worth zero. The money that you have in your bank account now is just laughing stock. Might as well just spend it and invest it in yourself to position yourself for when the new currency resets. Because at this point, there's no turning back, bro.
Yeah.
Fed now's launching. CBDCs are launching. The digital yuan's already out. Shit's crazy, dude. It's absolutely bananas. So I know why you fuck with Bitcoin. And there's a thesis there as to why you may be right. The only thing that fucks with me with Bitcoin, and I'll be honest with you, is the amount of liquidity that's out in the market versus how small the crypto space is. It's so easy for somebody like Fidelity to come in and just buy the entire crypto market out in a day.
I mean, if you own Bitcoin, wouldn't that be a great thing for you?
It's insane. Yeah, you would push it.
Or a central bank if they started buying Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So your whole positioning right now, and we've talked about this, is you are literally dumping all of your money into yourself. That's all you've been doing. You're not in crypto anymore. Okay.
And after what happened with USDC, I was like, the fuck am I relying on another company to hold my money? These motherfuckers can't even hold my money in a bank that is obviously a piece of shit.
When it depegged.
Like, you guys can't even hold the money in a super safe bank.
Yeah.
And now I'm supposed to say, oh, this is shit's pegged to the dollar, but it wasn't pegged to the dollar.
Yep.
Because you guys lost your deposits. So why trust USDC at this point anyway, if you guys clearly didn't even follow your own protocols and your risk is absolute shit? You had a ton of money, tons of digits inside one bank.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. Might as well be a custodian of my own stuff. At this point, dude, self-investing everything. Because I know what this currency will be worth in the next 8 years. Nothing.
So in your opinion, you think most people should position themselves in a way to build a personal brand, create a massive influence for themselves, to have positioning when the new world order takes place? Because you think all money is going to zero, and maybe including Bitcoin.
I mean, Bitcoin, if you denominate it in Bitcoin, it's Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's just
if you denominate it in dollars, then whatever. I mean, if the dollar continues to inflate, the price compared to Bitcoin will go up. Yes. I mean, that's just naturally how it's going to happen. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen, because you don't know the market conditions, or if every country unanimously says ban Bitcoin, or they make it super hard, or they crack down on all the exchanges like they've been cracking down on them in an organized way over the last month. So I'm in a situation right now where it doesn't even have to be personal brand. I'm just doing personal brand because it's easy for me and it's something that I enjoy doing. But for anybody, it needs to be position yourself for the next global reset, because it's coming, dude.
Yeah.
It's happening. What do you think the industrial revolutions are? Have you not studied the second industrial revolution? Where we introduced steam, iron. But back in the day, everybody was clocking in 18, 19 hours. But you were 4 or 5 years old. You were working in a factory. That was the industrial revolution.
Jesus.
Nowadays, they don't need you anymore.
Yeah.
They have robots. They have artificial intelligence. You are cattle. You are expendable energy. That's how they view you. If you don't think that the highest people in society view you this way, then you haven't met them yet. Because that's exactly how they view you. You are expendable cattle. You are energy. You are here for us to live better. That is the entire premise of this. And the entire financial scheme is based on this understanding that it's easier to have a compliant slave that you give them a couple treats and they slave away for you their entire life than to beat the slave into submission. Because a half-beaten slave that is half-fed isn't going to perform. So what do they say? Well, let's give them democracy. Let's give them choice, and let's introduce a fake currency into the system that basically is going to give us the ability to build a really great country or big country off of what? An illusion. Something printed out of thin air. And people will slave their entire lives away over things that were clicked on and printed. So they realized we no longer have to force people into slavery. We can just deceive them into slavery. And Sun Tzu said it best. He said, the art of war is the art of deception. It's not the art of fighting. It's not the art of going head to head against your enemy. It's the art of deception. And most people don't realize that they've been lied to. Mark Twain said it best. It said, it's easier to fool somebody than to convince them that they've been fooled. So it's easier to lie to somebody and then buy the lie than for you to tell them, bro, you've been lied to. Do you believe it? No, why? Because they have ego.
Yeah.
And you have to get rid of that ego and understand that what you've been told, what you've been taught has been programmed by other people so that they can take advantage of you. And it's in self-education, self-custody, self-management, and self-education where you can actually become free. Because you can have a ton of Bitcoin, you can have a ton of currency, but if you don't know how the world's working, if you don't know what's next, if you're not connected, if you're not networking, if you're not positioned, you're gonna get fucked. Money is nothing. So if money is all you have, then you don't have much.
So let's talk about altcoins versus Bitcoin, because I know you made a ton of money in crypto, specifically altcoins,
Yeah.
DeFi, NFTs. Now you're kind of just sitting in cash. What is, like, would you recommend people hold them for the long term, invest in them for the
No
long
chance.
term?
Altcoins are shit.
Okay.
So they're shit because you're investing in like ICOs, and you're basically investing into like pre-seed companies that you don't know if they're going to do something or not. I run things in cycles, right? So I'm not married to any token, any project, any founder. I'm not a fanboy of anybody, dude.
Yeah.
I'm here to make my money and I'm out.
Yeah.
So I run on momentum, right? So if I understand that momentum plays are going to go towards DeFi, I'm going to position myself in DeFi before everybody else positions themselves in DeFi. So we were already playing DeFi in 2019, bro. When Uniswap just launched, like we were on all the DEXs, we were running liquidity pools, we were well informed. So when CZ from Binance hops on Clubhouse and says, oh yeah, there's this project that Binance is partnering with called PancakeSwap. We were gonna launch our own chain to compete with Uniswap. I said, I'm gonna bet on this motherfucker, bro. This guy took BNB token when I bought it at $2 in 2017 to 600.
Wow.
This guy's gonna push liquidity into his own DEX
Sure.
so that he can run his BUSD and his BNB token pumps. So I put most of my net worth into PancakeSwap. Over like the extension of like a year and a half.
Yep.
And it ended up pretty well.
What was your multiple on that?
At least 20x, 25.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a pretty good play.
And that was most of your net worth?
But it was in transitions, right? So I would come in, come out. Because remember, bro, the beautiful thing about DeFi is you had staking pools. So I would say buy my PancakeSwap token, Cake, which is tatted on my neck because it was obvious. And I would stake it. And I would stake it. There was one point where it was like 5,000% APY. So I was printing Cake a day.
Seems like a Ponzi.
It is a Ponzi. Everything is a Ponzi, brother. It's all a Ponzi.
It's true.
The dollar's a Ponzi.
Yep.
Bitcoin is a Ponzi. Everything's a Ponzi. Why? Because you're reliant on hoping that the next guy will buy it off of you for a little bit more than you bought it for. And if somebody buys it off of you for less than you bought it for, then you get upset. He's like, shit, it's not worth that much. So it's all intrinsic. It's all a Ponzi. It's a Ponzi based off of what? Good faith and trust. Just like the FDIC. The FDIC is insured by what? The good faith and credit of the United States of America. Your FDIC is insured by what? Air. Everything is insured by air. So now I was like, okay, might as well just make my plays on momentum. Halfway through the bull run, I said, shit is looking scammy, dude. Like, there's these actors coming out creating tokens that are going to $2, $3, $5 billion valuations, market caps in months. How? It makes no sense. So then I started looking into how inflated currencies were being pushed with regards to exchange tokens and DAO tokens and holding tokens or voting right tokens. For example, FTT, right? Or Solana. And I was, when was it? I think it was 2020. I heard about Solana and it was at $4. And just the name alone, the ecosystem, just sounded like an absolute fraud. And then another one that I shorted that I made a lot of money was TUSD, Terra.
That was your biggest short, wasn't it?
Well, my biggest short was Luna. Was it Luna?
Yeah, you said, what was it, like 50K to
But was it Luna?
3 million? Yeah, it was Luna and
Yeah, it was Luna.
UST.
Yeah, UST. And the reason I knew UST was a scam, I just looked at the logo. I looked at I swear to you, it was a logo of a world and a US flag on top. I'm like, bro, what the fuck is this? Who's gonna put their dollars into this thing? And then I started looking at the fact of how they were managing their basket of assets, and their stability was based on the most unstable currencies. Basket of assets with Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. Their own tokens were the foundation for the currency. It was absolutely like ridiculous, dude. It was stupid. So I had all these basket of assets that were inflated, and I was like, Bitcoin's obviously gonna go under 65,000, which means this dollar pegging, unless the guys know how to trade like absolute animals and control the market, they're gonna lose money. Therefore, TUSD is gonna lose money. So I just shorted the fuck out of it. 50K to 2.1 to 2.6 million, I forget the exact number.
Wow.
In 5 days.
That's a big
I mean, I called it publicly too.
I saw.
I called it publicly.
You can go on your highlights.
It was Solana 106 or 116. I forget the exact number. It's been so long. And I shorted that 5 days, dude. I made the call publicly and I told people this shit is going to zero. I didn't think it was going to implode so quickly.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to slow rug.
It was a 1 day.
But that shit was crazy. Do you know what happened with Do Kwon yesterday?
He got arrested.
But you know what they found in his body? A ledger.
Ledger in his ass.
Motherfucker ate a ledger, bro. What a fucking bitch.
That's crazy.
Imagine being so botted about money that you give up your freedom for it. Like you have to put a ledger up your ass.
It was a treasure, actually.
Even worse.
They're thicker, bro.
Even worse. So this motherfucker is in a situation where his entire life now revolves around a couple coins that are imaginary. It makes no sense.
He's going to jail, bro.
So now I'm like George Soros, bro. I'm in the business of shorting fucking Ponzi's and scams.
Yeah.
Because it's all, bro, 90% of the shit's out there's a scam.
Yeah.
Look at what just happened with Square and Cash App.
Yep.
All their numbers are inflated. I lost 40 G's on that trade.
Yeah.
But their numbers are all inflated. They're all a bunch of scamming rats. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna find the scammers and I'm just gonna bet against them. I did the same thing with, what was the walking Ponzi in crypto? They had a token.
Oh, on Solana?
It was
the one that had like the shoes?
Steppen. It was Steppen.
Uh-huh.
And what was their token called? I forget. It was some bullshit token.
Yeah.
I'll give you the premise of their product so that you understand how gimmicky it is and how easy it was to short. Their premise is you need to mint an NFT that costs $700 in order to use that NFT to give you access to walk to earn. That's what they called it. Walk to earn.
Dude, my trainer was doing it.
You walk your steps.
He's making $400 a day.
And you earn money.
Yeah.
I'm like, the fuck? How's that sustainable? And then I realized that what they were doing is they were taking the initial NFT sale in order to participate, using that revenue to pay out people that were walking.
Classic.
So then I was like, what happens when no more people buy the original NFT?
Sure.
There's no more liquidity to pay people out.
Yeah, no new money.
So now people are left with all these bullshit expensive NFTs and walking days to pay for it. Days. It made no sense. I was like, I'm going to short the fuck out of it. I think it was GMT. GMT is what it was called. It was at $1.67. Short, it was $500,000 short, wrote it to about 47 cents. Made $1 million on that trade.
Jesus.
But it was easy because obviously when you understand the fundamentals of how they're trying to make money or what their product value is, it doesn't work.
Sure.
People need to be incentivized financially to work out.
Yep.
That's not sustainable.
So I love what you do, and the reason why I came to the Capital Club when I found you on Instagram is because you talk so openly about the Ponzi's, and I've always had this mindset. I never got in altcoins, I never traded shit coins, but what I did do wrong was I knew they were Ponzi's, and I did not take advantage and short them and profit monetarily. So that's something that I looked up for you too. But what I wanted to ask you was, for someone like me who understands Bitcoin, it's scarce, $21 million imploding, this is somewhere I can store my wealth. Do you think for me, selling some in the next bull run when the greed gets crazy is a smart move? Or
Yes, because you need to be fluid.
Yeah.
You need to, bro, you can't be a Bitcoin fanboy. You need to be a Colin fanboy. Bitcoin is here to make Colin win, not Colin here to make Bitcoin win. So I'm using Bitcoin to get rich. I don't give a fuck if one day I have to move all my money to Singaporean dollars or to some bullshit currency, or if one day Litecoin becomes the world reserve currency. I don't care. I'm going to move it accordingly. My job is to do three things: create wealth, multiply it, and preserve it. So you run through three cycles. First is creating. It's very hard to create money or create wealth inside of the markets because most people lose. So you need to create wealth outside of the markets, a business, a job, and then you multiply your money. You can't multiply your money through work because you only have X amount of hours, but you multiply it through investing. So create money, whatever money you're willing to lose, invest it to multiply it, and then what? Understand where cycles start and finish, and then you go into preservation. You sell, and you stay on cash. Today I was reviewing Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway portfolio of the 90s and the early 2000s, just to understand how he was thinking.
Sure.
And there was years where he was 50% cash. I'm talking tens of billions of dollars. There was years where the market was roaring and he was in 50% cash.
Wow.
Why? Because he's playing the long-term game.
He's waiting for the crash.
He's waiting, bro. And he's playing the long-term game because, yeah, sure, you make 10% here, 30% here. But you don't also want to be the guy whose net worth is fluctuating millions of dollars because
that's what happened to me.
Exactly.
I round tripped it.
So you're doing like this, right?
I multiplied, and then it went down. I didn't get to the last part.
And that's where you multiply and preserve.
Because I listened to everyone on Twitter. I listened to
Fuck the Twitter heads.
I
bro.
listened to all the Bitcoin maxis, and I thought, you know what? Hey, I'm open for waiting for 10 years because I know where Bitcoin's going. But now in this, year bear market, I did not get to take advantage and buy Bitcoin at 15K. I had to basically just survive.
Yeah.
I couldn't thrive.
Yeah. You had to stick it out.
I had to stick it out, bro. It was one of the hardest things I ever did. And I asked you, should I sell here? And it was at like what, 20K? And you were like,
no,
might
not
as well.
at this.
Yeah, you missed it.
I was like, you should have sold before, bro. Might as well sit on it.
Yeah. So would you say for me next cycle, is it something where you would trade like shit coins again, or would you
I would find. So I would never invest in old altcoin projects. So things that have already had their like boom, like I would never buy Solana again.
Or
like,
Pancake
I would
Swap.
never buy AVAX. Why? I might buy Pancake Swap because they're actually currently fucking savages and they actually work. They have a ton of money and they're still really backed by Binance.
Yeah.
That's the only one because DeFi and is still such a big space. But big projects that used to be like hot, like AVAX and Solana, these projects that were like the household names, I'm never going to invest in.
There's going to be new ones, right?
Exactly, because there's all going to be the new hype. The new hype's going to be AI integration, all this gimmicky bullshit. So what I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to figure out who are the winners, who are the guys that know how to market, who are the guys that know how to push momentum, who are the guys that are connected with the market makers and the exchanges, invest in those companies, bet on those people, and once I start seeing cracks in the system, sell and short the fuck out of it, dude.
For our viewers watching this, how do you find those projects? What is your thought process and the actionable items that you do in order to locate those people, those projects? And then how do you sell? Because you told me, your very simple method of when you know how to sell, those little, points or notifications that come up in life where you're like, I'm out.
Yeah, so what I would say is I look at macro trends. I don't even look at crypto to know if I'm going to buy or sell crypto.
Wow.
Like I look at the US dollar.
Yeah.
What's the strength of the US dollar? Are we printing more money? Are we not printing more money?
Mm-hmm.
That's very simple right there. Because why? Money sometimes, I believe, is finding a place to go. And I think that partially crypto was created as a place to siphon over a lot of the leftover fiat currency because there's so much in the system.
Sure.
Bro, that shit went to $2 trillion.
Yep.
Peak market cap, 2.5. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a lot of dollars. And now instantly wiped.
Right out.
So what I'm seeing is market pumps
Yep.
with US dollar inflation. They inject capital in their banks, hedge funds, because remember, they're getting loans at 0%,
Oh, yeah.
0.1, 0.5.
Zero.
Where do you think they're dumping that shit?
Fucking
They're dumping
crypto,
it on the markets.
Everything.
And then what are they doing? Running promos, running ads,
Hyping the
running
shit up.
campaigns, running news outlets, running interviews, sponsoring
Celebrities,
sponsoring Tom Brady, and then the motherfuckers rug you. The motherfuckers rug you.
Right when the
broad
Super Bowl
daylight.
ads come
in
out.
broad daylight. People
Yeah.
are buying this Wonderland Time bullshit ass token. I remember I was in Puerto Rico, and Wonderland Time was this token on AVAX chain.
Yeah.
And it was this token that basically would let you yield money, but it was like 14,000% APY, like a clearly
That
a Ponzi.
seems sustainable.
So I'm with one of my buddies in Puerto Rico, and it was at $25 million market cap before anybody really knew about it. And we're like, dude, we should totally get in it because it's a fork of another project called OHM, OHM.
Yep.
And that project did really well. And we started seeing this pick up traction on the AVAX chain. So we put in 55K each into that. It was like Hail Mary. That shit runs up to $770. Then I start seeing all the YouTubers talk about it. They're like, dude, this guy that created this Wonderland Time thing, he's the new DeFi god. Like everybody starts pouring their money. I start seeing TikToks. What am I gonna do with my 14,000% APY? Well, I'm gonna be depositing $30,000 and my return will give me enough to buy a Lambo monthly payment. And I started seeing TikToks like this.
Oh, boy.
Sold, done, out of it. Market implodes. I get into it, I think at about like $800, $900 or something like that. And it rides up to like 11,000 or something crazy per token. And I remember at 9, 10, 11,000, everybody was putting their money in.
Oh.
Everybody was talking about it. As soon as everybody started talking about it, I left.
Tell me when you sold, I think you sold everything at this point, maybe all your Bitcoin, but I think one of the FaZe clan guys hit you up or something?
So one of the founders of FaZe hit me up, and this was when DeFi was going crazy.
Yep.
And he hit me up and he's like, should I buy SafeMoon? And I was like, fuck, bro.
It's over.
And this was literally right before the first dump. Do you
Yep.
remember the first dump?
Yeah,
the first
yeah,
50?
yeah.
It was literally right before that.
Wow.
Maybe like 2 weeks.
Wow.
And that's when I got rid of all my cake, and then I rebought at $20. So that shit spiked, rebought at $8. Rebought at $8 and ran that back up to 36. And the reason I did that was all the noobs were getting in. The exit liquidity. There's no way a guy whose entire life is based around gaming and entertaining people knows anything about financial management, knows anything about risk and reward ratios when he's out here asking me if SafeMoon is worth buying because he's trying to make an extra couple bucks. That was the first one. And then the ultimate market crash was when an influencer came to me. He's like, bro, I've been talking to all the leading teams, like the founding team from Shiba.
Yeah.
Shiba Inu, that basically was like the Doge competitor. Wait, I can't say it in public, but I'll tell you afterward who owns the project. Insane insider shit.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, I got a phone call from this guy. They're dumping the entire market. And that's when Shiba Inu had an entire explosive run up.
Yep.
And all the influencers dumped on everybody, bro.
Yep.
I know it because I saw everybody do it. I was like, let me get out. And I got out. So it's really understanding when the noobs come in, you leave.
Yep.
When nobody's in, you jump in.
Yeah.
And that's it.
So when it's boring, you just get in when it's boring.
When it's scary, dude, why wouldn't you? Like, I got out of crypto completely because there is no, it doesn't feel safe.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm still going to short the fuck out of this thing.
Sure.
And I did, and it went well. I feel like I could have done a lot better, but I'm happy.
Here's my one thing with your whole premise on these cycles, especially with Bitcoin. What if, like Weimar Germany, you know, it went like this all the time, and then eventually, bro, it hyperinflated and the currency went to zero. What if that happens with American dollars and it all pours into and collapses into Bitcoin and you're sitting on the sidelines? Do you ever think about that?
No.
What if it happens?
It's a small probability, and it's an unlikely probability because I feel like they would dump it into CBDCs before they dump it into Bitcoin, bro. Like, these guys run the world.
So you think these cycles are going to keep repeating?
Bro, they've always been repeating
Always
since the
repeat.
beginning of dawn. Like, the New York Stock Exchange one day will implode. All the companies will go to zero. They'll be bought up, privately held. This idea of like having a public stock exchange is another big ass gimmick, because what you're doing is you're funneling taxpayer money, you're funneling people's salaries into propelling your own shares, and then exiting your own shares and letting people
share
hold the bags.
buybacks, pumping up the price, CEOs cashing out.
It's just a big
Everything's
gimmick.
a Ponzi.
Everything is a Ponzi. And once I realized that, I was like, I just need to identify which guys are the ones that are going to run the game really well, bet on the winning horses, and the guys that I know that are full of shit, because you're not dealing with companies, you're dealing with people.
Sure.
So once I realized, dude, there's so many scammers in here, I can bet against them and make money. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So every time I short, because I think from a moral standpoint, I like telling people that I'm shorting something, because you are betting against something, and I don't like betting against stuff. But if I get public warnings about it,
It's going down.
I'm clean. So short the market with these scammers, guys. It's not very hard to do. Don't use leverage.
Yep.
I don't use leverage. I'll never get liquidated on a trade ever.
So you just have a big balance on the exchange just in case?
I have a
stop-losses
big enough balance.
Yep.
I never use stop losses. The reason I never use,
because you can cover it all.
because I never take big trades that I'm not able to cover. So I'll do like a 3x leverage. Let's say I have a $3 million bankroll in an exchange. I will never do more than a $250,000 trade.
I see.
Never. Why?
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to, dude, give me the 3% gain for the week. Give me the 5%
sure.
gain. Give me the 1% gain.
For sure.
I don't want to lose money.
Yeah.
I'm not I'm in preservation mode. You know, like keep what I got. I can live. And now I want to go into multiplication mode once the next bull run rolls around. And the next mission for me now is creating more money, right? So I was worth a couple $1 million last bull run. This bull run, I'm worth a couple more shekels.
Yep.
And I just have to position myself for the next bull run to maximize. But it's happened before and it'll happen again, bro. People don't seem to learn. There is a Roman proverb that says, the fool deserves to be fooled. Which means what? If you're an idiot and you get finessed and you lose your money, that's on you, because you were a fool. You deserve to be fooled. So what is your job? To become educated, intelligent, and independent, so when the gimmick comes, you can identify it and you can capitalize on it. Not, oh, this guy's a scammer. This guy's nobody put a gun to your head to buy that. Nobody did. You just fell for it because you are a fool. So it's a fool's market, and there's money to be made. So it's time to wise up.
Incredible. Next bull run, what are you most excited about, and what are the things that you've learned from last mistakes that you made to capitalize further in this current one?
Not smaller, less, more sizable bets. So instead of spreading shotgun, focusing on
like 2 to
4,
3.
yeah, 4 to 5 projects that I know are going to thrive, and getting to know the team, playing with them, and going in heavy. That is because I did a lot of bouncing, and you probably see it in crypto. There's different like niches that have waves. Like you'll have your shit coins wave, and then it'll pump to your animal tokens, and it'll pump
DeFi,
to your
NFT.
and it runs in cycles. And what do people do? They move their tokens chasing cycles. So they're always lagging. Instead of positioning themselves in a cycle that they know is going to do extremely well. Like
before everyone's there.
Yeah, before anybody's there, and just running it up.
Incredible.
So I think my portfolio did 2020 40x, 42x. Wow. That's why I don't buy Bitcoin as a trading pair.
Sure.
Because I can't grow that quickly. And I'm at the point right now where, dude, I'm in my mid-20s. I'll go back to zero if I have to. I don't give a fucking damn. I slept in my car. I want to go for a big play, and I want to ride the gondola. I don't want to work, dude. I'll live under a bridge before I work another day in my life.
10 million deals only.
$100 million deals, bro. That's the name of the game. The second thing I want to do in this next bull run is get more involved with actual founders and projects, and start playing the crypto product space as opposed to just the crypto investing space. The ones that make a lot of money are the people that hold and the people that found projects or create 100%. Coins. So now I want to get into the little bit of the founders, the product side, now that I've really been able to understand the space, and potentially toss some private equity in there, get in some deals, probably get some allocations, some tokens to some projects early on. And yeah, just rerun the cycle, hopefully with more money than I did last run. And if I can do a 20x, bro, I think we'll be in a good situation. And 20x, anybody that knows crypto, 20x is really
attainable.
Easy. Yeah, very easy.
And would you say, in order to get in this stuff with you, is there any way to do that? Maybe Capital Club?
So the Capital Club kind of works right now, functions in a private club manner because it is a club. And part of my plan, I was telling you about it, is to bring deal flows that I get access to through my influence and my connections to Capital Club members. So one of the things that I did extremely well last bull run is take the allocations that all my buddies gave me, not from poo-poo coin and MILF coin and all that bullshit garbage. I'm talking about like real projects that have real founders and that are actually going to push to become successful and to find product market fit. I like to get allocations in those because I get them at a discounted rate. And it's usually basically, if the token goes down at all, I'm still break even because I've received it at a discounted price. So there's lockup periods for that. You got to hold it 1, 2, 3 years at times. For sure. But I've been buying stuff recently with the hopes that it'll be unlocked by the next bull run. And I'm counting on it.
And you had a token allocation, I believe you told me this at Capital Club. I think you put in somewhere around 50 or 100K and you made what, 5 mil or something like that?
So, no, it was a little bit more. It was like, wow. It was like 4. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Token allocations are crazy because I know guys that really were printing money with token allocations. Printing money with token allocation. And the reason is because they're buying something that's literally worth nothing. And when the market inflates it to $1 billion market cap, that shit flies. That shit flies, and that's a lot of money. So what could be $20,000 today could literally be $1 million tomorrow at a 50x. If you do not know how crypto works and you don't see a 50x being possible, then you haven't seen crypto runs yet, because that shit goes parabolic and it goes really fast. But it also implodes.
Exactly.
So that's where it's high risk, high reward. I'm a guy that bets and plays on bets, and so far they've worked. I don't win every time. Dude, I my biggest trade, I lost 3.5. But it's okay.
Yeah, because you won more.
Because it's all about size, right? So it's like you lose 3, but you make 5.
Sure.
So it's like Warren Buffett is out here making big sizable bets. If I'm trying to, in any way, shape, or form, be in the shadow of a man like this, I need to be taking sizable bets. So my goal is not to take a ton of bets, is to make sure that the bets that I take, because that's all bets. All of life is a gamble. It's all probabilities. You running a business, you starting a business, and think that any way, shape, or form it's safer than what I'm doing is statistically wrong, because most businesses implode and fail within 2 years.
100%.
Right? So business isn't the only vehicle to make money.
Yep.
And I came to realize that I just have to be really good at risk and reward. Many people are running their business. It's a low risk, but it's also low reward. I don't have time for that. I'm high risk, high reward because I know what I'm worth and what I want to do in life.
And you don't have to sell the top too. Like one thing that I saw
True.
you do is you cashed out all your Bitcoin, I believe at 55.
Yeah.
People called you a fucking idiot.
Between 59.5 and 55, and people were tripped. They were like, "You're an idiot. You're a loser."
I would have been flipping out on you if I knew you back then, bro. I was 100K all the way to the moon.
And then I sold all my ETH 2 days or 3 days after the Bored Ape Yacht Club land sale, which was at 3,950. No, never mind. I sold all my ETH at 3,950. I think it was previous to the entire Bored Ape Yacht Club land sale, because I did not find any more upcoming supernova events that were going to take place in the crypto space.
Sure.
The richest guy already bought. The most popular company, Tesla, already bought and dumped.
Yep.
Everybody's already in here. We're spending $1 million on monkey photos. There's too much excess cash in here. There needs to be some damage.
Yep.
So I decided to bet against the markets, bro, and it worked.
My dad texted me actually on the day of the Bitcoin top. He said, thinking about buying a Bored Ape Yacht Club, like jokingly. That was it, bro. Should have known right there.
There you go, bro.
Yeah. So now I know those are little subtle keys that literally
when the people that don't do shit between bear markets start getting greedy,
Yep.
you know that it's the end, because they are the last people that got on board.
Yep.
The lazy motherfuckers that just want it for the money, they're the exit liquidity.
Incredible, bro. Well, before we wrap up, what are any final pieces of advice for anyone maybe entering their first bull market, maybe even their second?
What I would say is, first, figure out a way to make money.
Yeah.
Before going into investing, you need to figure out how you can make money and become self-sustained. Investing is cool, but guys, you can lose it all, bro. Like, I've lost it all so many times, it's totally fine. Like, it's not a big deal. But I also have businesses, and I have investments, and I have portfolios and vehicles that create money for me. So if I lose something, I'm like, okay, it sucks, but it's not the end of the world.
Sure.
Most people have like 6 months worth or 3 months worth of trading experience, and they make it their full-time gig. Like, dude, chill out. I've been looking at Bitcoin charts since 2016 every day. Like, I know how this thing moves.
I feel that.
So I'm looking at this thing every single day, and if I'm not confident to trade it, these guys are out here scalping 1-minute candles thinking that they're being productive. Go build a business. Go read a book.
Yeah.
And then use that money that is sustained
To multiply it.
To multiply.
Get the fuck out.
and get the fuck
Do
out.
it all again. Buy low.
Cycles,
Sell high.
bro.
I love
It's
it.
not hard, bro. You just got to run cycles. So ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. And I think we're going to have some dope shit coming, bro.
How do they find you, follow you?
Luke Belmar on Instagram, all the socials. And yeah, pretty much
Thank you
it.
so much, brother.
Appreciate
Really
you, G.
appreciate you, bro.